Hello crafty friends, welcome to day 10 of Die Cut December 2025. Today the random number generator of craft chose number 37, which corresponded to film strip dies. So I got all my film strip dies out and had a bit of a think about what I could do with them, and decided to cut them all from masking paper so I could mask off film strip shapes on a card panel and blend ink over them. So I die cut them all out of masking paper, which is basically a low tack sticker paper that you can stick on other bits of paper, do something over the top of, and then peel it off without wrecking the piece of paper that you've stuck them to. So once I die cut all my film strips, I peeled off the release paper from the back and stuck them in a higgledy-piggledy, jaunty fashion all over a piece of linen textured cardstock. Some of the bits of masking paper hung over the edges of the card, so I took my scissors and snipped those off and then stuck them back on around the edges so it looked like I had more film strips coming in from the side. And once I did that, I pressed everything down firmly with my fingers to make sure the masking paper was in good contact with the card panel. And my idea was to blend some inks over the masking paper, and then obviously you peel the masking paper off and you've got some white shapes left behind amongst your ink blending. And for my ink blending, I chose a pastel rainbow of distress oxides. So I've got saltwater taffy, dried marigold, scattered straw, cracked pistachio, tumbled glass, and I think it's shaded lilac is the purple that I used. And I started in the top left hand corner with the saltwater taffy, then I added the orange and a bit of yellow and blended the colours together where they touched and going over them a couple of times to get a nice smooth blend. And I just worked my way down the rainbow and finished in the bottom right hand corner with another little bit of red. So I've got red, all the colours of the rainbow, and another bit of red at the bottom. Once I was happy with my rainbow, I peeled off all the masking paper to reveal those lovely crisp white film strip shapes amongst all that blending. Some of the masking paper was a little bit stubborn, so rather than risking tearing the paper, I did bring out my hairdryer, gave it a bit of a blast, and that softened the adhesive on the back of the masking paper and made it really easy to peel off without tearing the panel. If your masking paper comes off really well and doesn't tear, you can always use the colourful masking paper on another card or paper craft project. Before moving on, I wanted to add some shimmer and shine to my rainbow film strips, so I spattered on some metallic gold watercolour and gave that a good dry with my hairdryer. At this stage I could have put my panel on a card, added a sentiment and been finished, but I wanted to bring in some nice contrast. So I took a piece of black cardstock and added some double-sided sticky adhesive to the back. I think I used Stick It for this one, which is quite a nice thin double-sided adhesive, so it's easy to die cut through. And then I die cut all my film strips again. Now, I think I was a bit of a glutton for punishment with this card because before I started, I didn't consider all the tiny little holes in my film strips and having to poke out all the little bits from those holes. So it was definitely a labour of love, but definitely doable and worth it in the end, I think, because I love all the colours, I love the white in the background, and I love the pop of contrast with the black film strips. So again, I just peeled off the release paper, placed my film strips on, and I made sure to overlap them so they all look connected. And I cut out a few extras and chopped off the overhanging bits and stuck those back on until I was happy with my kind of mishmash of black film strip die cuts. To make sure they were all stuck down really well, I pressed them down with my bone folder, and then I took a stitched rectangle die and die cut out my panel just to give it a nice stitched edge and make it a little bit smaller. I then mounted this on a stitched rectangle panel of black cardstock that was a bit bigger all the way around, but it was a little bit too big all the way around, so I did trim it down with my guillotine to give it a smaller black mat. I then used tape runner again and stuck this to the front of my 4x6-ish inch card blank. For my sentiment, I decided to keep it simple. I chose Happy Birthday, and I die cut the happy in a scripty front from gold and mounted it on its outline made from white cardstock. I then used high-tack white glue to stick the sentiment down. I did put my rule of thirds acetate grid over the front of my card and lined up the happy in the middle of the card level with that top grid line, so it's a third of the way down the card, and then I added the birthday underneath. I did use my T-square ruler to help me get everything straight. And that's today's card done and dusted. I really hope you like the card. I do love it. I love having black against bright colours. I love that pop of contrast you get. And of course, I love the gold and the shimmer and shine. So as I say, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've enjoyed the card. If you'd like to see more from me, then do come back tomorrow for the next day of Die Cut December 2025. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.